Sucker is the 2014 album by now famed indie sleaze queen Charli XCX, but she definitely had a different start to her career than most artists do that I would say this generation doesn't even know about. But I am here to help you paint the picture of what it was like back in 2014 when this was her most successful album. You are watching Tumblr Retrospective on The Current. Oh, the light is so lovely right now. I cannot, I wish it was like this all the time. This is literally the perfect light for this house. So I am nice and jittery and energetic today because I had 2 coffees and a Red Bull. I am literally shaking. I need to eat something, but I want to get this done. And then we can carry on with our day. Due to my age, there are definitely a few memorable moments that I'm looking back on with this release, such as the iconic Boom Clap. Then there was also Break the Rules, which was unavoidable, those 2 songs together. This release also comes off the back of Iconopop's iconic song. I love it. I live in Europe. That song was absolutely unavoidable here. Undeniable. It was everywhere. I thought this song was fucking big in Germany. Look, whether you know Charli XCX from Boom Clap or from her DJing with Outer Bra, there's certainly a lot of connection moments for Charli XCX and lots of different reasons that people might know her. Most recently, of course, being Miss Brat over here. Brat is definitely an album that was years and years in the making, and thinking about Charli's career has been really interesting, and that was why I definitely needed more time to talk about this album, because I couldn't just talk about the album and do my usual Tumblr retrospective thing, talk about the songs and be nostalgic. Like, I couldn't really do that. I think Charli is probably one of the only artists that could be big back in 2014 and be even bigger and completely in a different way a decade later. It still feels like Charli is only just getting started. I also just wanted to paint a picture of what it was like in 2014 because, again, full transparency. I was on Tumblr. I was really into the fan space at the time. The Fault in Our Stars was absolutely unavoidable. Charli XCX had a song on the soundtrack, Boom Clap, which was at the time her most successful song. If you view it alongside I Love It. She also had a song on the Hunger Games Mockingjay soundtrack. So she was very much intertwined into Tumblr culture. Besides this, she is also a Tumblr veteran. I found a very old clip where Charli XCX was being interviewed for her album that came out before Sucker. I think it's called True Romance. She is showing the interviewer her old Tumblr blog. At the beginning, when I started doing research for this video, I went on her Tumblr blog and I just thought it was really funny because she mainly reblogs posts of herself. She's a Leo, that makes sense. However, I did see on the video that her blog looks different from how it looks today. So she must have deleted some things. It's obvious that she was very intertwined in Tumblr culture because otherwise nobody would have known about the movie Clueless. And that was the major theme for the Fancy music video that she did with Iggy Azalea. Besides this, I just want to keep painting the picture of what it was like. The other big releases from this year, now this was shocking to me, especially when I was going through my own Tumblr blog. It was Self-Titled by Beyonce, 1989 by Taylor Swift, My Everything by Ariana Grande, Happy by Pharrell. Is that song really 11 years old? That's insane. And obviously Ultraviolence by Lana Del Rey. And I feel like I knew about Charli XCX, but I was not a fan in the slightest. I liked Boom Clap, and I liked The Fault in Our Stars, and I liked The Hunger Games, but I think that's really where it ended for me. I thought that I reblogged a Charli XCX GIF. I tried really hard to find it, but I didn't. It was interesting because she was named by the interviewer as Tumblr Wave. I had definitely seen Charli XCX's face on my dashboard. It was an interesting time, but I do feel like she kind of got snowed under by Beyonce's massive release. It was a surprise release as well, so it was just an absolutely crazy time for pop music in general. And if you think about the fact that Ultraviolence by Lana Del Rey came out in this year as well, that was the dominating album on Tumblr. We were all still very much in the throes of Frozen and Breaking Bad, which had come out the year before. And when I was going through my blog, I also saw so many Orange is the New Black gifs. It was a really good time for pop culture, let me just put it like that. So let me talk about the album cover right out the gate. So we see Charli XCX with a lollipop with the album title written on it. I can only assume that this is a direct reference to Bow Wow Wow's I Love Candy, which she has cited as an influence. Again, there's not that much that you can find on the album artwork. So again, I have to come away with my own interpretation. If you know anything special about this album artwork, please leave it in the comments. I'm dying to know. I was going through some old Tumblr blogs, and I always look for old Tumblr blogs that were active, like fan blogs. I did that with the Marina video as well, and then you can find some really good gems. And then I had realized I actually own the Teen Vogue with Charli XCX and Nat Wolff on the cover. This was when they were already working on Paper Towns. She does not have a song on the Paper Towns soundtrack. They should have done that. They should have done that. Why not? Here she is being interviewed by Jack Antonoff, which is really cute. I will insert some inserts from this magazine, and I used to collect Teen Vogues. I have a fat stack. If you want me to make a video about these Teen Vogues, I would love to do that. It is probably my best source of 2010s American culture. But yeah, I just loved going through this because, again, I just wanted to paint a picture of how different Charli XCX's career was. She had made songs for big movies that were really popular on Tumblr, and it's impossible to imagine her out of the Tumblr age. And it's insane because she came out with Brat last year, and it was so massive and unavoidable, but in a bigger way that nobody could have ever even understood. I just wanted to read an excerpt from this Enemy interview that I found, where she had commented on some songs off of Sucker, Feeling Fake, and she says, "It was definitely a confusing experience after Fancy, when things didn't really go my way. I didn't become like this huge big artist or whatever. That was definitely hard at points for sure. I do think everybody was kind of expecting her to propel into this larger-than-life pop star woman. And then it's just so satisfying to see how all the puzzle pieces fell in place, because now she's one of the biggest artists. I feel like it just all made so much sense, and it should have happened for her to get to the vulnerability that she allowed herself to show on Brat, which is one of the reasons why this album is just so interesting to look back on. Looking back on this album, I do have to say, you know what? I don't really like this album, but it definitely comes down to taste. I'm impressed that it wasn't really on my radar, because it is pretty much, I don't want to say a pop punk album, but definitely has those influences. It has a Rivers Cuomo writing credit, and also is so interesting that I just naturally thought to do this album, because when I started doing research, I found out that Rostam of Vampire Weekend also has contributed to this album. She also mentioned Marina in a different interview and saying how they were friends. Very interesting, because I didn't know. So why did that Fruit Looks Familiar thing happen then if they were friends? She had also toured with Halsey. She pretty much has worked with every single person that I have previously talked about. So even though it was not really on my radar, I just feel like I could not talk about it, especially because there's so much overlap with the artists that I already talked about. In general, I'm just surprised that this didn't really land for me, because on paper, it sounds like something that I should totally like, but in its execution, it just doesn't really resonate with me. I find it sad. There are good songs on this album that, when I was listening to it again today, that I noticed I was, bumping my head along to the song, and I think I will come away with liking those songs and revisiting them every once in a while. Let me talk about the songs that I liked, and then I'll just leave the rest behind. Before I do that though, I just wanted to quote this AOTY review that I just really agreed with. Since pop punk is a very trendy sound that is guaranteed to get you at least some novel attention, I can tell this record came from a place of genuine love for garage rock and punk punk music rather than some cynical attempt to make bank on that community. The songs themselves aren't very good, in my opinion. And then from Pitchfork, which actually got a pretty good review, it can be an exhausting listen if you're not fully prepared for its willfully destructive energy. The credits are stuffed with a wide breadth of writers and producers plucked from every corner of the contemporary pop world, industry superstars like Benny Blanco, Greg Kurstin, rising producers like Kashmir Cat, indie darlings Ariel Rexshade, Vampire Weekend's Ross and Batman Glitch, and Gonzo Doofus, Ariel Pink, and none other than Weezer Godhead Rivers Cuomo on the Beverly Hills Rip hanging around. So yeah, let's get into the songs. And I'm just going to talk about the ones that I like, because I don't think talking about the songs that I don't like and roasting them is adding anything to the internet. So let's just focus on the good parts. We do have a banger of an intro on the title track, Sucker. Definitely one of the best songs on this album. I'm imagining myself at a festival with my shades on, just jumping around. I wish that that happened. And the inspiration for this song was just very good. She had written this song to the people that had doubted her. You definitely have to prove yourself in the music industry, right? And she did that, and then she just kind of wrote this as a fuck you, sucker. Luke loves it now, and I love that she roasted Dr. Luke on this album. Yeah. And then I just wanted to talk about London Queen, which is not one of my personal favorites, but doesn't that harpsichord lead actually sound like the machine, the fry machine at McDonald's? Then we have the ever so popular Break the Rules, which is definitely the one that had the most gifs made out of it, has the most Tumblr sentiment, dark lipstick, breaking the rules, not wanting to go to school, getting high, getting wrecked. Then we have the best song on this album, in my opinion, Body of My Own. When you look on Genius for the lyrics, it will give you the Japan edition. And when you look at the album artwork and you listen to this song with the Japanese letters on the album artwork next to each other, that just makes sense together, right? I mean, she mentions on a later song, I want to learn how to speak Japanese. But especially on this song, it makes so much sense. You feel me? I don't know what it is about this song that just makes me feel like it just goes with Japan really well. And she had also mentioned that she was really, really inspired by Japan in general, and she wanted to make a J-pop album. I do think we definitely see that on her future projects after this. But yeah, I like this song because it definitely just has something to say. It's very daring. I think we need more songs like this. I watched a lot of interviews where she was asked about what is it like to be a woman in the industry, and she just wants to clap back a tiny bit and just saying instead, what is it like to be an artist in the industry? There's not really a big difference between being a man or a woman. And I really like that she just put that forward and made everybody think about her career in that way. Then we have the super catchy Famous, and when I was listening to this song, I was just very impressed because her range is really impressive, especially on this song. I find it interesting because in a few recent interviews she had mentioned that she didn't think she could sing that well. On this song, you definitely notice she has a really good range, and I was quite impressed by that. And the is just so 2010s, and I don't know how to explain it, but like I said in the previous video, I'm closing my eyes and I'm in the top shop, overstimulated, but I didn't know what overstimulated was at the time, and I'm really warm and I'm looking at the clothes and I'm really impressed because it's top shop. Then I'm in Oxford Street and it's really busy and I hear this song. That's just the image that it paints for me. And then we have the song with the Rivers Cuomo writing credits, Hanging Around. And this is definitely very at home in this album. And with the Rivers Cuomo writing credit, it only makes sense that you write about wanting to leave your town, which is probably the most pop punk sentiment that you can put in any song. Also from that AOTY review, Hanging Around is literally just Weezer's Beverly Hills, from the basic distorted guitar groove and the lyrics about some humble origins dreaming of becoming rich and famous, living big and expensive in a major city somewhere. It's ... pretty shameless. Yeah, and then we have the Rossam credited songs, Die Tonight and Need Your Love. Need Your Love apparently was Charli's favorite, but she said she pushed herself the most on this song. I definitely hear how far they took the melody writing. It's definitely the most diverse song on this album. It really plays with the different melodies and tries to do as many different things as possible, and I do commend that. Do I see myself returning to this album? No. And like, it's okay. It's okay.
Wanna break the rules.
This is where I would usually put the future insert here, but it's just a natural progression how we're going to talk about this. And this is why it was hard to put this video together, because Charli XCX is still relevant. It almost feels wrong to talk about this album in a Tumblr retrospective way, because I looked at Setlist FM and I looked at the set list of her tour that she did with Brat last year. She does not even play Boom Clap. Not breaking the rules. Not fancy. Like, she is completely over those songs, and Brat is just the album that she's really proud of and the album that she wanted to make, right? You know, she's getting married, she's just in such a different place, and even when you look at how she looked, I mean, she is the same person. But if you look at her in every single phase of her eras, you know, this soccer era is very different from her era where she worked with Sophie. And that era is very different from when she was making and promoting Brat. And she, like I said, she's just a chameleon. She's incredibly talented and just has a really great knack for marketing and understands what she wants, has a great vision. I have no doubt that we will still be talking about Charli XCX in 5 years from now, probably with another amazing release under our belts. Yeah, I'm just excited for what she is gonna do next. I don't feel guilty not having that much great stuff to say about this album, because she's not even that behind this album anymore. She has moved on and she doesn't need this album. She also mentioned in a different interview, maybe if she's playing a festival or something, she will play Boom Clap like when it's relevant or when it's needed, when she feels like the audience needs it. But when her fans come to see her, they actually just want Brat. They want track 10. They want Party for You. And I just love that. I love that she can move on. I love that she doesn't need those super famous songs that, yes, made a lot of money and made her record label very happy. She doesn't need to do those. Nobody is coming to her show to see those songs anymore. You know what I mean? She has evolved. Like, genuinely, she's like a Pokemon. I hope that you liked the structure of this video. Again, it was difficult. It was difficult to put this together because I've just already mentioned it. So I'm just going off script here for a little bit. I was looking at the fan blog, like what I just said. Most of the posts didn't really even crack more than 5,000 notes. And I think that makes sense. Like, I didn't necessarily see so much Charli XCX on my timeline at the time. So when I was going through my blog in 2014, I just saw a lot of Ultraviolence by Lana Del Rey, lots of Matty Healy, lots of The Neighborhood, lots of Beyonce's self-titled album as well. But also, it was the year that I first found out about Black Lives Matter. You know, there was just a lot going on in that year, and I don't blame myself for not having paid attention to Charli XCX. It's okay. Like, it was supposed to happen this way, and yeah, she has paid her dues to Tumblr. You know, she has a good relationship with Tumblr, and she appreciates it, and I would love it if Tumblr in general just made a comeback. Charli, can you contribute to that? I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know what your favorite song off of Sucker is. Do you revisit it? Do you still like it? Do you think it's her weakest? It's definitely not as good as Brat, right? And let's just appreciate the light one more time. It's a beautiful day. I hope when I upload this, it's still a beautiful day. So yeah, enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week on The Current.